bird on a tree.
A friend of mine sent me a video which I've linked in the description. That is the perfect example of gaslighting. I encourage you to watch it after you watch this one. What is gaslighting? It's manipulation of the mind to confuse and cause you to doubt your own reality, your own memory of events, conversations, and actions. It's usually subtle, especially at first. An example used in the video that I've linked you to is where her date claims that they agreed to meet at 7:30 when she specifically remembers that 8 p.m. was their agreed upon time. She, being a busy woman, chalks it off to the fact that she has a lot going on and might have misheard it. Another example might be, well, let's take my own issue, where my landlord was constantly claiming that my rent was due on one date when I have a lease that states a different date, and him claiming he doesn't remember agreeing to that specific date. Him doing that over and over for the first 2 years of my living here is exactly why I made him sign a lease. I've had enough experience with being gaslit to know what it looks like and how it feels. It's subtle things at first, things you might chalk up to you having too much going on to remember details. They might claim that you are just forgetful. They might claim that you drink too much to remember things that are said, or even things you've done. A real good example of this is what Amber Heard was doing to Johnny Depp. Even her taking pictures of him while quote unquote passed out, then claiming that he was violent or said this or that, or he took this drug or that drug, when he himself did not remember any of the events that she was speaking about. It's because she was gaslighting him. She was manipulating and confusing him. Gaslighting can get so bad that you really start to question yourself and you begin to feel like you're going crazy. It is an insidious form of manipulation and a way for the abuser to control their victim, and it is deliberate. Gaslighting isn't done by accident, and it is emotional abuse. How do you fall prey to being gaslit? It starts out much like love bombing. The abuser might start off winning your trust by confiding things in you, even complimenting you, and what seems at first to be boosting your own confidence and ego. The sooner they can establish trust, the sooner they can begin their manipulative tactics to control you. After a while, you just get worn down. You might begin to self-medicate because you really feel like you're going crazy. The abuser may begin to isolate their victim by telling their friends and family about your quote-unquote odd behavior, so that when you reach out for help, they've already been convinced that the problem is you. When you try to recount events and conversations as you remember them, the abuser will blow you off or make fun of you, acting like you need help. They will call you crazy or too sensitive if you call them out on their behavior. They will shift the blame for problems in the relationship to you by retelling twisted events of arguments or problems within the relationship. They need to control the argument, rarely letting you speak. So, what does someone who is or has been a victim of gaslighting look like? Well, they might feel the need to apologize all the time. They might have high anxiety or feel nervous a lot. They may experience a loss of confidence. They might feel disconnected and lost from their true self. They might feel like everything is their fault. They might have a sense that something isn't right, but can't put their finger on it. This was my case. I knew something wasn't right, and I thought it was all me. So I put myself in therapy 3 months before the relationship ended because I had started self-harming and believed I was going crazy. Someone who's being gaslit might feel an overall sense of hopelessness and even become emotionally numb. The abuser attempts to solidify these quote-unquote off feelings in you by making statements such as, "You seem off, I'm worried about you," or "I only say this because I care." So why do they do it? It gives them a sense of being in control. It makes them feel powerful because underneath it all, they are very insecure and have very low self-esteem. What can you do about it? If you're dealing with a narcissist, confronting them is pointless. It's best to remove yourself from the situation. Do not engage. If it persists, it's best to leave the relationship. Gaslighting is never your fault. Even though your partner may have convinced you that the toxic pattern is because of you, it is never your responsibility to stop the gaslighting from happening. When it comes to gaslighting, the person doing it must have a willingness to change in order for the relationship to work. But chances are, they'll never admit that that's what they're doing.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here